What's good, y'all? It's Icon here, about to do the recap for NXT War Games, night before Survivor Series. This is going to prove to be a real good pay-per-view. Let's go through it from start to finish and see what all the action's about. So the first match was the pre-show match. It was Angelo Gargoza versus Isaiah Swerve Scott, and I was actually looking forward to this match because I'm a huge fan of Swerve Scott. I like I was a Kill Shot fan in Lucha Underground, so I was definitely a Swerve fan. Now that he's in NXT, and it was a good match. I mean, the thing about Gargoza, whatever, he does like weird shit, like. He just does like a lot of like questionable like stuff. So, but when he gets serious, he's a good competitor. I personally don't think he's better than Swerve Scott, but in a good one-on-one matchup, he actually does get the victory over Isaiah Swerve Scott. But Swerve Scott definitely, he put on a show for the fans. He had the whole crowd chanting, "You got swerved." So, Gargoza may have won the match, but Swerve Scott definitely won the audience. And I hope there are big things for Swerve Scott and coming up in the future. So after the pre-show match, they took us backstage, and they were talking about Mia Yim, because earlier Mia Yim got attacked by a quote-unquote unknown assailant. They showed they were putting Mia in the ambulance, and she was on her way to the hospital, which means she was definitely like in no way, shape, or form able to compete. So then Dakota Kai was there along with the rest of Rhea Ripley's team, and then Rhea Ripley basically grabbed Dakota and was like, "You're in, bitch," because remember, like, she didn't pick her. To be a part of the team from the beginning. And then Dakota, Dakota's such a punk. Like, she was just like, "Oh, I'm not ready," and blah, blah, blah. And then Rhea was like, "Yes, you are. Stop being a pansy. Put your boots on and let's get out there and kick some ass." But the thing is, they've been slowly, like on NXT TV, they've been slowly, like, teasing, or at least trying to set up, that it's Dakota Kai, who's the one that attacked Mia Yim, because she's jealous that Mia got picked over her. Because even when they did the ladder match, when Mia Yim did the ladder match with Io Shirai, all the girls got beat up, by an unknown assailant, and the only person who didn't get beat up besides Bianca was Dakota Kai. And Dakota Kai said to Mia Yim, she was just like, "Oh, don't worry, Mia, I've got your back tonight." So everybody assumed that Dakota Kai beat up all the members of Rhea Ripley's team, and she was gonna set up Mia Yim, but they pulled the swerve like on us. Ended up being Kaylee Ray, and then Bayley ended up being the one who attacked everybody. But Dakota Kai didn't betray Mia Yim then. So now they're trying to make it seem like Dakota Kai betrayed her now, and they're slowly building to, I guess, like a Dakota Kai heel turn. But we'll see what happens, because Dakota Kai is a part of the match now. She's in the War Games match, which honestly for me brings the stock down to the women's War Game match as far as the faces are concerned. So now I'm basically I'm rooting for the heel team like 100%. But we'll see what happens, and we'll see if Mia Yim comes back. If she comes back out of the ambulance, and we'll see if Dakota Kai is a team player or if she turns on him. So to open the pay-per-view was the women's War Games match, and this was a great match. All four women came out. It started with Io Shirai was the first one to enter the ring for Team Baszler. So the moment Io Shirai went to the ring, Candice LeRae ran down to the ring because the two of them still got beef, which made perfect sense. So the two of them started the fight. They had a good fight. The crowd was actually more behind Io Shirai because they were chanting her name. They chanted for stuff that Candice LeRae did, but they were actually chanting like Io Shirai's name. The third person who came out was Bianca Belair, and then it was 2-on-1, Io and Shirai versus Candice LeRae. Number 4, surprisingly, was Rhea Ripley, the captain, and I guess she figured, she needed to come in to turn the tide because Candice LeRae was getting her ass beat, and they needed some power because Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox aren't that big. So, but when Rhea got into the ring, like, she stepped it up because she brought in chairs and kendo sticks and trash cans and stuff. So she introduced the hardcore element to the match. So it was 2-on-2. They were fighting back and forth. And then Kaylee Ray was the next person to come out for Team Baszler. Kaylee Ray to me is the MVP of this entire match. Well, we'll get to her in a little bit. So Kaylee Ray comes in. It's 3-on-2. The bad girls are getting the advantage. They're doing what they got to do. So then now the clock comes down. There was even a moment where like the clock went away because they were showing the clock in the lower right hand corner, and then the clock disappeared for a little bit, and then the fans were bitching, "Where's the clock? Where's the clock?" And I'm just like, just so they can count down from 10, which was silly. So, so then the next person who came in was Dakota Kai, and when when Dakota Kai came out, she came out of the cage. Tegan Nox was trying to pep her up. She was like, "Yeah, you get in there and show them what you could do." And then Dakota Kai turned around and kicked Tegan Nox in the face, and then just proceeded to whoop Tegan Nox's ass. And like, I was surprised. It's like I was, I mean, I know I just got finished saying that they're setting up, Dakota Kai, turning heel, but I thought if anything she turned on them in the War Games match. I didn't think like. Tegan Nox never even got in the War Games match because Dakota Kai bust that ass, and I was never ever a fan of Dakota Kai. Like, I was not a Dakota Kai fan at all. But shit, I might actually pay attention now. Like, she ripped off, because remember Tegan Nox tore like her ACL and MCL on both legs. Like, she has dual knee braces. So Dakota Kai ripped the knee brace off. Then started beating her with the cage, with the cell. Beat her with the door, and William Regal came out and tried to break it up, and then she beat up William Regal. Dakota Kai, she's lost it. She's bloody lost it, mate. And I Wednesday can't get here fast enough now, so it's safe to assume that Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, and Tegan Nox won't be representing NXT at Survivor Series. So after that, when they finally got Dakota Kai out of the way, Rhea Ripley was pissed, and then Shayna came in as the last person, and then it turned into a 4-on-2. Like Shayna brought in, she came. Well, by then, like, all the weapons were already in. Like, Kaylee Ray brought in some weapons, and then the fans were chanting, "We want tables." Kaylee Ray pretended like she was gonna bring in tables, and then she changed her mind, and the crowd started booing, and then she started laughing. But so at this point, it was basically 4-on-2. Tegan Nox was dead on top of the ramp. Mia Yim is in the hospital, and Dakota Kai got ejected from the building. So. Obviously, even Nigel was just like, yeah, this one's over because it's 4-on-2. And, Kaylee Ray, like, bless her, because she got thrown into the cage, she got suplexed into the cage, she got power bombed into the cage, like, she got hit with trash can lids, and she got triple suplexed off the top. Like, Kaylee Ray took a beating. Like, she took, like, the biggest beating in this, and like, God bless Kaylee Ray. And and my girl Bianca Belair, she pulled off the triple power bomb. She did a military press where she threw Candice LeRae into Rhea Ripley, and then the fans started chanting EST. So put a little respect on Bianca Belair. But in the end, Io Shirai did a moonsault off the top of the cage, which was really cool. At one point, Shayna tried to handcuff Rhea Ripley's hands together, and then she was able to get out of that. But then towards the end of the match, it ended up being like zoomed in on Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler. Like, there was even a moment where Ripley had I believe it was who was it? Oh, it was Io Shirai. She had Io Shirai in her figure 4 backwards arm submission, and then in one corner, and then Shayna had Candice LeRae in the chokehold in the other corner. Both of them got out, and then, like, when it came down to just Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler, because everybody else was basically wiped out. Bianca even used her hair to whoop on Rhea Ripley, and then she got beat with a kendo stick. Rhea Ripley actually, she took the handcuffs because she only had one handcuff on her wrist, and I was waiting to see how that was going to come into play because I knew they were going to do something with it. I thought she was going to punch her in the face with the handcuffs at first, but she ended up handcuffing herself to Shayna Baszler, which was very interesting. Like, I haven't seen that before. So she handcuffed herself to Shayna Baszler, and then she put Shayna Baszler in the pump handle slam through 2 chairs. She pinned Shayna Baszler, and I don't know how they did it, but Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae, 2 people, beat 4 women in the first ever women's War Games match, and Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae will go down in history as the victors because Tegan Nox was Tegan Nox still trying to pick her legs up, and like I said, Mia Yim's in the hospital, and Dakota. Oh, they did announce Dakota as a winner because she was on the team, but yeah. So this just set up a whole lot of shit. This just set up a whole lot of betrayal. There's gonna be some anger. There's gonna be some shots fired. If I was Dakota Kai, I'd officially announce my full-time membership for the NXT UK brand. But this was a great match. Kudos to every single person involved. Like, I got to hear what Jim Cornette has to think about that. Because he's been very supportive of the NXT women as of late, and because of the talent that was involved. Like, I definitely want to, hear his thoughts on it. But like I said, my thoughts on it, like, that match definitely gets a 10 out of me, between, like, the brutality, like, the surprise, the betrayals, and the intrigue, because it's not like you just gave us a War Games match and then that's it. I actually want to know what happens on Wednesday now. Like, I mean, I watch NXT on Wednesday anyway, but I really want to know what happens Wednesday now. Like, I'm like, damn, the Survivor Series, let's just skip to Wednesday. But good match by all women involved, and, let's see if the men can top that, at NXT War Games. So unfortunately, these three gentlemen had to follow that that War Games match. It was Killian Dane, Damian Priest, and Pete Dunne, where they said that the winner was going to get a championship match at the Survivor Series, and I'm like, against who? So they're gonna fight Adam Cole, I still think it was stupid that the heavyweight champions on each brand aren't going to fight each other in a triple threat match, or a fatal four, because Walter should be involved as well. But again, like, Triple H wants to protect Adam Cole, and Vince doesn't want The Fiend to take a pin, and you're not going to have Brock Lesnar take a pin, so all the guys are going to have individual matches, but they should have did a triple threat match. Anyway, including Walter. But anyway, so Pete Dunne won the match. It ended up, Damian Priest ended up being laid out. Pete Dunne was on Killian Dane's back, and he had him in a sleeper hold. Killian Dane thought it was a good idea to do a running senton on top of Damian Priest. And when he did the running senton, Pete Dunne then pushed Killian Dane out of the ring and pinned Damian Priest and got the victory over Damian Priest. So tomorrow we get Pete Dunne in an NXT Heavyweight Championship match against Adam Cole's baby. And I'm interested in that, so we'll see what happens. So after that was Finn Balor, heel Finn Balor versus Matthew Riddle, bro. And this was a good match, as you would expect. And I don't know what happened to Matt Riddle. Ever since he lost to the Velveteen Dream, like, at that one takeover, like, this man has had bad luck after bad luck after bad luck. But he was on his game. He went for a 360 off the top rope. Balor got the knees up. Balor hit him with the drop kick and the turnbuckle. Matt Riddle was able to get him in the clutch and the chokehold. Balor got out of it. He hit him with a brainbuster, which they called the 1960. And then Balor's your winner. So Finn Balor got the victory over Matt Riddle, and I would assume this feud will continue. Like, Matt Riddle's probably he has to get one win at some point, and because we're damn sure not gonna see him any demon for a while. But Finn Balor's committing to NXT, so it's only a matter of time before Johnny comes back and tries to get his revenge. But good match, and kudos to Finn Balor. And finally, the men's War Games match, Undisputed Era versus Keith Lee, Donovan Dijakovic, Tommaso Ciampa, and a mystery partner. Everybody online thought it was going to be Johnny. That was stupid because they said multiple times Johnny has a legit injury, and Johnny really has no beef with Undisputed Era. If anything, Johnny would have come out and attacked Finn Balor, because Finn Balor drop kicked him into the barricade a couple of weeks back. I thought it was going to be the Velveteen Dream because the Undisputed Era legit whooped the Velveteen Dream's ass and left him for dead, and we haven't seen Dream in over a month. But the order was first. When everyone came, because obviously the Undisputed Era came out together, and then Keith Lee came out, Donovan Dijakovic came out, and then Ciampa came out. When Ciampa came out, he basically went straight to the ring. There was no talking. There was no huddle. He went straight to the ring. He had a crutch in his hand. And then Roderick Strong ended up being the first person with Undisputed Era. Dijakovic ended up being, next for his team. O'Reilly was the second person for their team. Ciampa came and Fish came. Adam Cole was the last person to come in, and when Adam Cole came in, he introduced all the tables to the match, which made the crowd go wild because the crowd wanted tables like the entire time. So they got their tables. They set tables up like all over the ring and all over the place. Ciampa actually threw Cole into one of the tables that he set up on the floor. And, they got in, they closed the cage, and ended up being 4-3. And then magically, the clock started counting down from 10, and then the fans went crazy. When it hit 0, nothing happened, no music hit. And then finally music hit, and then we find out that the fourth member for Tommaso Ciampa's team was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, who received an invitation from Triple H, and then got jumped by the Undisputed Era. So, I guess that would make sense, because at first I was like, why would Kevin Owens do this? Because NXT's been attacking Raw for the longest now. Like, why would he help NXT? But then when you think about it, he really got jumped by the Undisputed Era. He didn't get jumped by the entire NXT. So I guess that maybe was his reason. But who knows? He might not even tell us. He probably just did it just because he wanted to get into a fight. So the fight was on. The crowd was going wild. There was a moment where Kevin Owens had frog splashed somebody through a table. Keith Lee powerbombed somebody through a table off the top rope. And then it came down to Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole on top of the cage, where there were two tables set up next to each other. Ciampa got him up in the fireman's carry, and then he backdropped him straight through both tables, got the 1-2-3 pinfall, and Team Tommaso Ciampa are the winners. And I think this is the Undisputed Era's first loss in War Games, because I think we've had, this is the third year of doing War Games now, and I think the Undisputed Era won the first two, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, we got, but, they finally took an L. So, they took an L, and, Ciampa's team is running wild, and the crowd's going crazy. And, that was pretty cool. It wasn't as good as the women's match, but that was definitely a good match. But the women's match was the best match on the show by far. So that was it. That was NXT Takeover War Games. Great pay-per-view. I give it a 9 overall. The women's match was definitely the match of the night, and I would have given it a 10, but my boy Swerve Scott took that L, and I ain't like that. So I'll be here for Survivor Series tomorrow to do the recap for that. And until tomorrow, actually I got some stuff coming in the pipeline. I got my Anime Convention 2019 video coming up. I got Supergirl Batwoman recaps coming up, as well as other DC content. Survivor Series coming up tomorrow. Got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And until next time, as always, until tomorrow, I'm out this bitch.